We have all seen it. The uncle at the masjid who greets everyone with the warmest smile. The brother who leads the Friday discussion with so much wisdom, and then they go home and something shifts. The warmth disappears. The patience runs out. The kindness given so freely to strangers does not make it through the front door. We're not talking about bad people, we are talking about us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses this clearly in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 44. Do you enjoin righteousness upon others while you ignore your own selves? Although you keep reciting the book, have you then no sense? We recite, we remind, we share, but our own homes sometimes get the leftover version of us. Aisha radiallahu anha was once asked what was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam like at home. She said he helped with the household chores, he mended his own shoes, he sewed his own clothes, he served himself and those around him, and when the time for prayer came, he would go out. He did not save his best self for the masjid. His home was where his character lived. The shell we have been talking about this season, it shows up most clearly at home, because home is where the performance ends. No audience, no one watching. And yet, Allah is always watching, and the people we love most are always experiencing us. Let's make one small shift before we walk through our front door. Pause for one breath and ask, who am I bringing home today? It does not have to be dramatic, a genuine greeting when we enter, putting the phone down when someone is talking to us, not raising our voice when we are tired, saying thank you inside our own homes. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed us that the most important congregation we will ever lead is the one that lives with us. We have perfected the public version of ourselves, the right words, the right posture, the right places. But our homes see the unedited version. And if the unedited version does not look anything like the edited one, then we have to ask ourselves an honest question. Which one is actually us? The place where we get our deen back is not at the masjid, it is at home, in the ordinary, unseen, unposted moments. Before the closing dua, let's meet someone we should all know. His name was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, born in 1890 in the Peshawar Valley, a Pashto, a devout Muslim, and one of the most extraordinary freedom fighters the subcontinent has ever produced. The British called his people violent and ungovernable. He looked at the same people and saw potential that had never been given direction. His first act of resistance was not a weapon, it was a school. He walked from village to village, persuading families to educate their children. He was mocked, he was threatened. He kept going. He believed that Islam demanded more than tribal custom had allowed. That the Prophet's patience in Mecca, the Quranic call to forgiveness, these were not borrowed ideas, they were the original ones. And his people had forgotten them. From this conviction, he built the Qudai Qidmatgar, the servants of our God. An army without weapons, tens of thousands of Pashto men took an oath, absolute non-violence, service to humanity, truth under all circumstances, no revenge. They wore red shirts, the color of sacrifice. They drilled with military discipline, but their only weapons were patience and steadfastness. They stood before armed police without flinching. They observed beating without retaliating. The British had expected warriors. What they faced was a moral awakening. And they did not only resist, they built roads, schools, hospitals in poor villages. They helped widows, confronted drug addiction, ended blood feuds. Service was their jihad. Reform was their battlefield. After independence in 1947, this man who had never raised a weapon against anyone was arrested, imprisoned by the state that claimed to speak for Muslims. He spent nearly half of Pakistan's existence in jail or under house arrest. When they told him to disown Gandhi, he said, "I was a friend of Gandhi, and I will remain a friend of Gandhi. He stood for humanity. Why should I be ashamed?" He passed away in 1988 at the age of 98 in exile under state guard. He asked to be buried in Jalalabad, Afghanistan, a final act of protest, a final declaration of who he was. Tens of thousands came. Afghanistan declared a national holiday. A ceasefire was called in the civil war so he could be buried in peace. He converted warriors into peacemakers. He built when others were destroying. He served without asking for anyone in return, a servant of God, a servant of his people. This is our history, and this name belongs to us.